It's time to head to the modern era of 1998.
So modern.
So modern. All of the latest technology is here. It's all here. Everything's here. Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Jared Now Watch Inuyasha. It's episode 11. I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc Allen Ladium.
Hello.
We are discussing season 1, episode number 11, called Terror of the Ancient No Mask.
This is probably like the least terrible title that you've had to deal with in a while.
Yeah, that's good. I appreciate the short titles. Big shouts out to the short titles. Yeah, we're going to head back to the normal modern times for a little bit here. Mm-hmm. Also, we get a bit of a recap as we begin this episode. But this one actually kind of makes sense.
Yes.
Because the show had been off air for about a month.
Oh, wow, really?
Yes. The last episode was December 18th, 2000, and then this episode aired on January 15th, 2001, which makes sense. Usually, that's the fall winter break where shows just don't air during Christmas or New Year's. Sometimes they just take a little bit to get back going again, so that makes sense. But again, this recap really wasn't a recap. It was just like, their journey begins. Here's what the first episode told you, and now here we go.
It's weird that they're saying their journey begins. We're like, no.
This is episode 11. No, the journey has begun.
They have 7 shards already.
The journey began like 2 months ago. What are you talking about? So yeah, we kick off this episode for realsies, where Kagome's riding her bike. She wants to go home to study, and Inuyasha's like, "No, you can't go. If you go, you have to give me the shards." And Kagome's like, "No. Not happening. I'm going to school."
I missed a lot of school.
Yeah, a lot of school. I have a test, and even if I pass this test, I still might flunk the class.
Woo!
Inuyasha's like, "No, I'm gonna put a big rock over it so you can't leave." And then Kagome just makes him sit a lot. She just yells it like 5, 6, 7 times, and then the rock falls on his back.
Owie.
And he's trapped, and he gets his back thrown out. And then she leaves.
I mean, that's yikes. Big
She's like,
boulders
I'm gonna
on
be
your
back
back
for 3 days. Yeah, big boulder on your back would just suck.
It would really, really suck.
It'd be very painful.
Yes.
So she jumps through the whale.
The whale.
The whale. Back in her time, we see the old man and
Ramps.
Sota are just like sitting there. The old man's just like, "I'm doing the spell of returning from the well." And so it's like, "What? You've been doing this for 3 days. This doesn't work, dude." And then Kagome like shows up as he's like dumping like wine or sake on her.
Yeah, it's rice wine, I think.
And he's like, "Oh, it worked. And she's just like, "Oh, I'm just soaked now. This is not good. Can one of you just help me get out of here?"
My favorite part about this is Gramps is like, "Oh, so are you ready to shave your head and start training?" So it's like, "What? No, I don't want to do that at all. I want to be a soccer player, but Mom wants me to be a doctor. Oh my God."
And she's just sitting there just covered in alcohol, just like, please get me out of here. We see her getting some food, some toast, and her mom's like, "Here's your new uniform."
Yay.
And so she's like, "Why didn't you bring Inuyasha with you?" And she's like, "No, why would I bring him with me? Gross.
That guy's a jerk." And then she goes into the whole like, "I'm a middle schooler.
Yep.
I live this life," and it's like,
in case you forgot who I am.
We know who you are. We know this. And I'd mentioned to you, like, this had to have been weird if people didn't know, like, how Japanese school works. Because she's 15 and says, like, I'm in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that would just make it seem like she was held back a lot.
Well, she did say she missed a lot of school, so.
That's true, yes.
Never know. Yeah, so she goes to school. Her friends are like, "Oh, my God, I can't believe you're here. We heard you threw out your back, and then you had Lyme disease, and then you had, like, I don't know, other weird stuff that happened to you." And she's like,
I forget what they were, but you texted them to because they were hilarious.
And then this dude shows up, like, "Kagome, I heard about your bunions." "It's real sad. I'm glad to see you're okay. here, my parents brought you this from the shop. It's for your bunions and your gout.
Thanks, mega hunk.
It's like these medical sandals, and she's just like sitting there like, what is happening?
Oh man. So yeah, this is gonna be like an ongoing gag that like Gramps doesn't really know of like how to get her out of like how her excuses should be. So he's just like, I'm just gonna say all these things that old people get. And so she ends up having like gout and bunions and Lyme disease.
Lyme disease and having her back thrown out.
And I think there was something about a cat attack.
Oh, her cat attacked her back.
Yeah. Yeah, Hojo is a mega hunk.
And then her friend's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe. Do you know him or anything?" She's like, "No, we've like never talked. That was real weird."
And he like rides off into the sunset with sparkles, like Shoujo sparkles. He's like, "Good luck with your bunions." It's like, oh my god.
And then they're like, "Well, what kind of guy do you want to go?" And she's like, "Well, I want someone basically the opposite of everything Inuyasha stands for."
Yep.
And then just like gazes out the window, and they're like, "Are we sure she's still okay? Is she okay? She's still sick? It's real weird." Anyways, we cut to Kaede's place, and Yasha's like just laying on his belly because his back's just messed up. And Kaede's like, "If ye are going to sit here and complain, ye should be getting more sacred Shikan jewel shards." And he's like, "Look, my back hurts. Shut up."
God.
Back in the present, Grandpa like is roaming the shrine area and sees smoke. He's like, "Oh my god, it's on fire!" And then like this box is on fire and all the talismans fall off of it. He's like, "That's the no mask. My great grandpa did that or sealed that up." And like he dumps water on himself. He's got all these talismans. He's like, "I'm ready," and then he throws them and like they just burn up. And then the mask attacks the Gramps.
Yep.
And then it falls off. And then he's like, "Well," and then he gets pinned under a bunch of planks that fall on him, and he's just like, "Oh god." So the fire department and the police show up. Kagome's walking home from school, and like these skaters are like, "Whoa, dude, the Inuyasha Shrine's on fire. You want to go see it?" And the other guy's like, "Cool, let's go." And Kagome's like, "Oh no, the shrine's on fire."
Her mom's just like, "No, it's just a storeroom. It's fine.
Storm's fine. Grandpa got some smoke inhalation. He'll be okay. He's just a little sleepy.
She's like, "Well, I'm going to go to the hospital now." She's like, No. Somebody needs to be here when your brother gets home. You stay."
Yeah. So all that happens, and then like the mask takes over one of the firefighters, and just like
firefighters have such cool uniforms.
It's very wild uniforms.
I like them. Anyway.
So it takes over like one of the firefighters, and the firefighters like takes off in a fire truck and just drifts around, as you do in a fire truck.
Takes out like so many police cars and is just drifting.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's like, stay away from this area. There is a fire truck that is going very fast and injuring lots of people.
Fire truck on the loose. Beware. And the mask is like, "I need more food. I need more bodies. Baddies." Kagome eventually just goes to the hospital anyways, even though Sota is by himself, I guess. And her mom's like, "Yeah, the doctor said he should be awakened by now, but he's not. Also, he had like these pieces of paper in his mouth and his face." It's like, "Oh, that old guy. What a weirdo." And then he's like sleep talking like, "Beware of the no mask. Beware of the no mask." And
beware of the flesh eating mask.
Old man just talking in his sleep.
What a weirdo.
What a weirdo. Kagome tries to study during the night, and Sota comes in and is like, "Can I sleep in your room? I'm scared." And Kagome's like, "You're a pansy. Go sleep in your own room. Nothing's gonna happen, weirdo." And then like the windows start shaking, and then she's like, "Maybe something is wrong.
And then she realizes like, "Oh hey, I brought back the jewel fragments. Also, this is probably a bad idea." Uh-oh.
And then the fire truck shows up and just blasts the ladder through the window.
Yep.
And then the mask comes out and is like, "I want the shards." And then Kagome's like, "I should probably go grab these shards." And just like lunges in and grabs them through broken glass and is like, "I got the shards, yay."
She's bleeding.
she brings out soda, and the cat's just clinging on the soda for dear life.
The cat on Soda's back is hilarious.
And she's like, well, we got to figure out how to get to Inuyasha somehow. And Soda's like, your hand's cut. And Kagome's like, whatever, who cares? Go in the well. He tries to jump in the well and just like, oh, I can't get in there.
He's like, oh God, I'm useless. Oh no, my sister's gonna die. I'm terrible.
And then Inuyasha just shows up.
He just like action poses. He's just like, hey, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, my dude?
You said something about needing me? What
up? What's up? So like he's flying around on cars and on buildings, and he's like, yeah, I can smell things really well. I'm like not human. It's cool. And so it's like, whoa, this guy's cool. He's nothing like what Sis said. We see Kagome's on a construction site with the mask, trying to get her, and then Inuyasha shows up and tries to just fight it and slice it in half. But it's all gooey, so it's just like, and then he shows up and is like, well, Kagome, if you want my help, you have to apologize for what you did.
My back still hurts.
And Kagome's like, what? Oh, right, that, sorry. And Inuyasha's like,
you're acting like you just stepped on my foot.
And then so it's just like, is this a guy I really thought was a hero?
Like, oh God, this is, oof.
The mask starts moving again. And then we learn that it was carved from a demon tree that had a fragment of the jewel embedded in it centuries ago. Which I guess can make sense in some ways, I guess, if it was just like, look, this show does not care about time paradoxes in the slightest, so
nope.
It's basically just like, here's the reason for why this exists. Don't think about it.
Yep.
Not at all.
Nope.
Do not do that. Inuyasha tries to attack it and then splits in half and just like, I got teeth now. And then the mask goes after Sota, who's like has the bottle of the shards and everything. He's just like right on the edge. He's like, oh no, I don't know what to do. And then the Inuyasha comes in and slices the mask in half and it breaks, and yay. They got a shard.
Yay.
And then Sota's like, I have a new hero. Do you want? I bet you don't know who it is. And then Inuyasha's like, oh brother. And then Kagome's like, oh man, in the morning light, Inuyasha looks kind of cool. Wait a minute, the morning light. I gotta go take my test. You gotta get out of here. And that's how the episode ends.
Yep.
So there you go.
What a wild time.
We have notes and differences from the manga.
Okay.
This is the only time a shard of the Shikan no Tama is recovered in the modern era.
All right. Makes sense.
At the end of the episode, when Kagome is running for school, yes, an instrumental version of the first ending, My Way, is played.
My will.
You know, yes, that's exactly what I said. My will. You heard nothing else. Which, yeah, that's just how animes work.
Yeah.
This is the first time that Shippo and Myoga don't make appearances since their respective introductions.
Well.
This is one of the few episodes where Inuyasha is actually shown coming out of the well. Because the jewel shard in the No Mask was there for several hundred years, it means that shard is 500 years older than the rest of the jewel. No, what? No.
What?
No.
No. I don't think that's right.
It also means that when Kagome wishes the jewel away in the Sengoku period, that one shard will continue to exist in the tree mask until Kagome collects it 500 years later. It also means that the shard existed in two places at the same time for 15 years. In Kagome's body before the jewel was shattered, and in the No Mask and after the jewel was shattered. You are taking liberties here.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
That's not how that works.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. I think they're just making some stuff up there. Like, it makes sense to me, for one, just ignoring time in general. But, like, if it shattered in the past, somebody could have embedded it into a mask at some point. Like, it's fine.
Or it just got caught in a tree and just stayed there for a while until someone carved that tree up.
Right. Like, it technically works. Is it perfect? No. But, like, it makes sense. It makes more sense of whatever they just typed.
Again, I don't think they want you to think about it.
No, they don't.
This episode and the following one, much like the manga chapters, are the only episodes when something dark in tone happens in the modern era. Every modern era episode afterwards becomes comic in tone.
Oh, snap.
And then differences from the manga, which apparently there's a lot.
I mean, the next episode is really dark. I mean, not really dark, but it's pretty dark.
Spooky. Due to the highly graphic and disturbing ways the Nomask devours its victims, the anime deviates quite a bit from its source material. This includes omitting the entirety of Chapter 24. Because of the omission of its said chapter, Kagome never makes a date with Hojo that she fails to go to, and her teacher informing her she needs to take a makeup exam for math never happens. Inuyasha attempting to force Kagome back to the warring states there is left out as well, as is the devouring of the punks in the park.
Oh no, the cool punks died.
I guess that makes sense because like a lot of that that school part just kind of seems real tacked in.
Yeah.
It's just like, here, show up to school, and then that's it. Like, it felt like there should have been more to that, but then... And also, like, the Hojo part, just like, he shows up and then just like, I'm out of here later.
Goodbye, I'm leaving, even though we just got to school.
So I feel like that makes a little bit more sense of why that kind of just felt disjointed in a way.
I wonder what makes it so highly graphic and disturbing.
Let's click on chapter 24. Might just be just the way, like, the mask just, like, chomps down on folks.
Nom, nom, nom.
Nom, 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 nom. Car crash. Yep. Foot massager. Yep.
What?
Hojo gives her a foot massager.
Oh, that's nice of him, I guess.
That's cool. She fails the test.
Yeah.
The group of punks are beating up an old man at the park.
Jesus! That's
they
not
try
cool
and take
at
his
all.
money, and then Nomask appears and just, like, devours everyone in the park except the old man.
Well, at least it has principles.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really go into details about what makes it highly graphic and disturbing.
Yeah, it's probably just like, hey, it just chomps on people in a way that's not suitable for television.
That makes sense.
Or at least for this show in particular. The scene of the villager informing Kaede that Kagome and Inuyasha return to the village and head towards the well is omitted in the anime. In addition to throwing sake in the well in an attempt to bring Kagome back, Kagome's grandpa also throws lit paper charms in the manga. The anime also includes a conversation Sota has with his grandpa about what he will be in the future in the same scene, which I'm guessing wasn't in the manga. All scenes involving the woman who was originally headed to the Higurashi shrine to exorcise the Nomask are manga exclusive due to the violent nature in which she is possessed and killed. Instead, the anime places the Nomask on the shrine grounds the entire time, reacting to the Shikon shards Kagome brought to the present with her. It's messed up. In the anime, Grandpa Higurashi's hospitalization is due to the fire caused by the Nomask, whereas he is hospitalized merely due to food poisoning in the manga. All scenes of the Nomask recklessly driving a fire truck are anime exclusive.
Aww.
In the manga, Inuyasha saves Kagome from the Nomask by skillfully cutting it with Tetsaiga, whereas he saves Sota in the anime. In the manga version, the storyline happened first, then the storyline with Shippo and the Thunder Brothers. This might explain why Shippo and Myoga don't appear in this episode and why Tetsaiga's sheath isn't cracked, even though Inuyasha doesn't repair it until the next episode. Makes sense. But again, like, why would you switch this?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it could have been the fact of, like, they knew they had this break coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And if you push this in front of the Thunder Brothers arc, you're splitting up the Thunder Brothers arc.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And having a month off between us. So maybe they thought, like, let's just throw this after that because we have the break and this will be the first episode after the break and it'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's what makes that the most sense.
It makes total sense, yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's the Spooky Mask episode. Next time, we will be discussing Season 1, Episode number 12, called The Soul Piper and the Mischievous Little Soul.
This one's pretty dark. I remember this one very, very well.
Ghost Girl.
Bleh.
And Sota goes to the hospital.
Bleh.
Spooky.
Spoopy.
So there you go.
Yep.
That's going to do it for this week's episode as well. So if you'd like more from us, go to seasonalanimecheckup.com or sec.cool, where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Seasonal Anime Checkup and Jared and Al Watch. That's this podcast, Seasonal Anime Checkup. Yay, yay.
Hey.
Hey. You also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you want more from Ann Ladium, go to annladium.com. She's got columns and reviews. You can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/anime checkup. And you can buy our books, One Shiny Moment, A Critical Analysis of Love, Life, Sunshine, and Hot Tubs and Pac-Man on Amazon.com.
Mm-hmm.
So join us next time for Spooky Little Girls.
Yay.